Hi, my name is Brian Harper, and this is my short talk for the Artaxis Conversations event during the 2018 National Clay Week. I'm the founder and executive director of Artaxis, so I can say personally, but also on behalf of the Artaxis Board of Directors, that we appreciate you taking time to check out this event. This picture was taken at the Artaxis Resource Table at the 2017 NCCA Conference. I'm the one standing on the left-hand side of the image. Next to me are Artaxis board members Rahala Filsufi and Samuel Johnson, three of our Artaxis fellows, Kathy Garcia, Natalia Arbaleas, and Raven Halfmoon, and Artaxis board member Salvador Jimenez Flores. I'd like to start by talking about a couple of people who have influenced me in my studio practice and in my efforts with Artaxis. Aaron Swartz was a programmer, writer, internet activist, and social organizer. At age 12, he built a website called theinfo.org that pooled the collective wisdom of the public by allowing anyone to post information on any topic and have that information edited by others knowledgeable on the subject. And if that sounds familiar, Wikipedia wasn't founded until years later. It's astounding to me that at 12 years old, Aaron was not only formulating his belief in the non-hierarchical sharing of information, he was actually building the tools to enact that vision. In researching him, I came across a video of him saying, quote, "It's not enough to live in the world as it is," end quote. And when I heard him say this, I was struck with the simplicity of it. It's not enough to live in the world as it is. All of us in the ceramics community have benefited from the efforts of people that came before us. It's not enough for us to simply take from what they built. We must also realize our responsibility to give back to a resource that feeds us. Grace Lee Boggs was also an activist, writer, thinker, and social and political organizer. She spent most of her life fighting for civil rights and racial, social, and gender equality. In American Revolutionary, a documentary that chronicles her life, she said, quote, "You make your path by walking," end quote. And again, such a simple but powerful statement. You make your path by walking, by getting out there and by doing. I carried these thoughts and Grace's words when I marched on Washington, D.C. with many of the strongest women in my life during the Women's March in January 2016. The ideals of people like Aaron Swartz and Grace Lee Boggs are embedded in the mission of Artaxis. Our jury process for reviewing applicants is non-hierarchical, and the resources we provide on the Artaxis website are available for free for educational and non-commercial uses. In everything we do, we strive to give back to the community and help enrich the ceramics field as a whole. With my own work, I have been long interested in non-traditional methods of building ceramic objects and often hint at the industrial in my surfaces and forms. The scaffolding series, one of my recent bodies of work, is indicative of this approach in that I am working directly with ceramic dinnerware from the JCPenney home collection and encasing them in a hand-built scaffolding form. In this work, I begin by making thousands of extruded pieces of earthenware and firing them to cone 2 in an electric kiln. I do this to create a new raw material of sorts, a material I can then use to build my objects with. In a painstakingly slow and often mind-numbing process, I carefully plan and build these forms, using epoxy mixed with black mason stain to create the connection points between all of the smaller parts. Encased in these earthenware scaffolding forms are ceramic objects from the JCPenney Home Collection series. Chosen for their stark plainness and seriality, I am also particularly drawn to JCPenney's use of the word home to advertise and sell these plates and bowls. When one thinks of home, we think of all the intangibles of the place. We think of the smells, the color, the light coming through the window, the people and pets you have in the home. You think of all the things that make it uniquely your home. In the JCPenney Home Collection pots, all of the notions of those intangibles are removed, and what's left are maybe the most visually plain pots I can imagine. They are sort of like default pots, yet despite this, I still in many ways feel the connection to the porcelain material they are made from. And in some ways, their seriality can be a beautiful thing. With this in mind, I build these quasi-hand-built scaffoldings in part to isolate and study these JCPenney pots. Focusing in on the home collection logo, I aim to highlight JCPenney's co-opting of that word by referencing architectural and house-like structures in the forms I build around them. The scaffolding is also a reference to the study or repair of something, as buildings are often wrapped in scaffolding when they are being restored or repaired. I spent months on each one of these works, and that slow pace allows me the opportunity to analyze every angle on these vessels as if it were an architectural structure and I was standing on the scaffolding itself. JCPenney advertises the home collection pots as being, quote, timeless. And I guess they basically are. I mean, they are void of any reference to people, place, or anything unique that would put them in a moment in time. And in a way, I can appreciate that. But for all of the opposite reasons, I love and collect handmade pottery myself. And I'm torn here. On the one hand, while I hate their plainness, I can't help but appreciate how these pots are pared down to the barest essentials. In the store, they are stacked in ways that make them really beautiful, but my appreciation for them seems at odds with my love for handmade pottery. And while it's not apparent in the set of images, I do at times make handmade pots myself, and I also run a university ceramics program in a fine art department where I push my students to build creatively and foster their own uniqueness in their work. I can't really like these JCPenney pots. I mean, my 25 years of experience making hand-built objects within a craft-based mindset means I'm supposed to think those pots are bad pots, right? I suppose my interest in those industrially made objects stems from a kinship I feel with them. The material connections and even the purpose of them are not so different, and maybe I feel a stronger connection to them than I first thought. As an artist and educator, I do feel the responsibility to be open to new connections as they form in front of me. I am deeply committed to a life of learning. I believe in the quest for knowledge in a broad sense, understanding that knowledge comes from a range of pursuits that include the search for and into the things that offer wonderment and excitement. And in this case, I remain surprised at what offers that wonderment. Thanks again for watching this, and I appreciate your interest in the Artaxis Conversations event during the 2018 National Clay Week. Thanks so much.